Okay, let's go ahead and begin. So tonight is magazines for your tablet, and we are going to start with a PowerPoint presentation. This is kind of how I've been going about with our virtual programming. I think it's easier to follow along if we kind of go through a summary first, and then I'll show both databases that we have to you live as well. So we're going to start with Flipster. And we have two different databases that we can use. Flipster is the first one, and then the second one is through Overdrive or Libby. That is a new addition. So that one will be a little similar if you use Libby or Overdrive to get ebooks or audiobooks. So we'll get to that in a moment. But Flipster is the one that we're going to start with. And to start, you can either do this on your desktop and go through our website, or you can do it, which is probably what you're going to do, is on a mobile device, so a tablet or a smartphone. And this is where you would get the Flipster app. If you see up at the top, the logo for Flipster is this F with like a book page on the other side. So this is the app that you'd search for. It's a free app that you download in your app store. So you would have to have Wi-Fi at the time to make that complete download. And then just to open that app, you would tap it, and then it should open up to this. So the first time that you open the app, Flipster wants you to add in your library. So it will open the page up to the left, and you will be able to select allow or don't allow for your location. This is an easy way to have it find your library because it's going to use your GPS location in your device. And if you don't want to do that and you hit don't allow, you would just type it in. So either or, doesn't matter which way. But you would put in either a library name, postal code, city, or state to kind of help narrow it down. And you do want to make sure that you pay attention to both the name and the city, because it should have the city underneath. But ours will be Middleton Public Library, Middleton, Wisconsin. And then you would select login. Because I've already done this before, it says go. So it knows exactly where to go. I've been logged in before. And it should just open up right away. There used to be that we had a login name and password specific to our library that you had to put in, but we no longer have that. So now it is just straight login. If it would ask anything, I don't think anything's changed right now, but if so, it might just ask for your library card number. But that would be the one only thing that it would ask you. But as far as I know, that is not anything that is going on right now. So it's just going to be the Middleton Public Library, and then you're in. So this is what your home page is going to end up looking like. Ooh. And you have three sections down at the bottom. The first one is Explore. And the second one is My Shelf, and then Read. So it does open up to all magazines right away on your homepage. That's in the Explore section. If you want to see any of these by categories, up at the top left corner, there's the word categories you can click on. You can also, if you see here, there's an arrow with a menu button that is your sorting. So you can select how you want to sort them as well. When you download a magazine to read, it's going to go to your shelf. So that's the middle button, My Shelf. And if I go back here, if you notice, there is, so there's the image for the cover, and then there's this box with an arrow pointing down. That's the download button. So this is something that you can do automatically just from this page. So when you do that, it will pop up on your shelf and it'll start downloading. So this is what it'll look like while it's downloading. It always puts a little new button to let you see what's new. It does that because you can also select, and I'll show you how you can do that if you want things to be automatically downloaded when the new one comes out. And after you finish your download, it will note in red how many days you have left for the magazine, but you can also use the trash can that's at the bottom of the image. If you just click that, it will get rid of it off of your shelf. And each magazine is a little different. Something like People or, oh, what's some of the other ones? Us Magazine, those are weekly magazines. So those ones you usually only have a few days for. Some of the other ones that are monthlies, you get longer. I think those ones are about 2 weeks. Let's see if I have that in here, I can't remember. To start reading it, you just tap on the image and then it should open up your magazine. So here's one, I opened it up, and when you tap the middle of the magazine, you get some of your features for reading. So you slide left to right with your finger on the screens for your devices. And up in the right corner is your menu button. So this is where you can find the table of contents here. So you can scroll through and skip to different articles. And they also tell you what page number it's on. There's also text view here, so you can make it larger or smaller. And you can also change like the background colors, just like you can for reading ebooks. So if you were to not use that quick download button that I showed you that was on the main homepage when you're scrolling through all the different titles, and you want to just find out more about the magazine, you would tap on the cover image and it would open up to the summary. So this is another way that you can find out more information, and then you can also download from this page as well. So here it'll tell you the date of the issue, other information like publisher, category that the magazine's in, and then you have your blue download button. And then below that, you also have any of the past issues that you are able to download. So you can tap on the little download or the quick download button to get any of those past issues. You do have a settings section in the app. So it's the top right gear button here. It does tell you which library you're logged into. If you follow more than one library, you know, there's lots of different reasons why you would. If you live kind of between county lines and a library in a different county is in a different system than this one, or sometimes people have houses in different states, so they have different libraries. So you can add them in there if they also have Flipster, and you can kind of go back and forth in between them. So that's basically the one and only thing in the settings, but it's there for you to use. But I also, let's see here, before we move on to Overdrive, let's see if there's one thing I was thinking of. That I missed. I think the information button that's on each cover, I believe that also gets you to the summary page. So I think there's two different ways that it gets there. Yeah, I think that's the thing that I was thinking about. So does anyone, since we're a small group here, does anyone have any questions about Flipster before we move on to Overdrive? It's pretty straightforward, and I am going to show it to you live through our website. It's going to look a little different than the app version that I just had screenshots, but everything is there.
Amanda, I've got a question. This is Jerry Nemick. In the chat, you have the handout. How can I download that?
You should be able to just click on the file. If you double click on it, it should open, like right on top of the Word or the PDF image.
Okay.
Have you tried that?
But what does that do with your program? I mean,
are you on a different, are you like on a phone or a tablet right now?
I'm on a computer.
Well, it should just open it up and then you can file and save. It shouldn't stop our Zoom call or anything. You should be able to do multiple things at once.
Okay, it's downloading it right now.
Okay. And also too, if for some reason you can't get it, everything that we're looking at is in here. There's not really too many extras in the handout, so it's something that you can always get afterwards too.
Okay.
It's more just for memory for later.
Okay.
I know it can be hard when you go to a presentation of some kind and then if you don't have anything to refer to, you're just kind of lost in space. So, all right. Let's get back here. Hopefully that'll download. Okay. So the other database that we have is Overdrive. Overdrive owns Libby. That's the app that they made. That's the newer app, but they also have the Overdrive app. So magazines can be found both in Overdrive and Libby. And if you've used ebooks this way, this is all gonna look pretty familiar, but you can either get the app on one of your devices or you can start on our website. So here, I'm just gonna show you quick how to, oh man, I always do that. Computers. Gotta love them. So you start at our website, so that's midlibrary.org, and then click on the resources tab on the top, and then databases. So I have an image down at the bottom. It's resources, then online databases. And then you just select Overdrive, and that should open up the consortium page for you. The consortium is just a community that the whole state uses for ebooks. It's kind of a little screenshot. This is the right corner of the website. That's where your sign in button is. So this is where you would want to click on. If you download the app, it's just going to ask you once it's downloaded to sign in or sign up with your library card if you've never done it before. So you would click in there and go through the process of searching our library, which would be South Central Library System, LinkCat Libraries. I'll show it the next page here. So it will look like this. It'll say select your library. You'll select the South Central Library System, and then you would put in your card number. It shouldn't ask for a PIN at all. So if it does ask for a PIN, you know you've selected the wrong library. There are a few other South Central library systems or similar name like Southwest Library Systems, things like that. So just make sure it doesn't ask for your PIN and you should be good. And if you do use this on the app, once you sign in, it shouldn't ask you to sign in again. You won't need to log out. If you're on some kind of shared public computer, I would recommend to always log out of your Overdrive account, but when it's your own personal device, especially in the app, it's just going to stay there. So every time you tap on the app, it should just open up and be ready for you to search books. But today we're doing magazines. So at the top of the website or the top of the main page, your home page that the app opens up to, you're able to kind of scroll through on the app, or on the website. It's just going to show you subjects, collections, Kindle, available now, or kits. And if you click on collections on the website, this is how it looks like. And then on the far right side here, you have magazines. So this is the portion we would pay attention to. And then if you're on the app, you would scroll down. You can scroll down to the collections area down there, and sometimes they might have the magazine collection kind of on display as a little quick button. They change what's on there kind of every day. So, but as you scroll through on the app, you should be able to find it. When you click on magazines, it should open up and have, I think the topics or categories are in alphabetical order. So I started scrolling down. The screenshot I took started at F. So there's food and cooking. They just have a few here that you can look at. If you want to see more, you can click on the See All button. And then it goes down to home and garden. Over here on the right is what it would look like in the app. So once you click on the collection for magazines, it looks like it started with the newly added magazines. So if I wanted to see all of them, I could click on this, and then it kind of divides it out into different categories. And then you would just scroll up and down to look at the different titles. And you can also use your search bar that would be up at the top too on the home page. You can search by the title of the magazine. Same thing on the website. And if you notice, there is the word borrow under each title. Same thing on the app. There is the top button here that says borrow. If you wanted to look at the magazine, you would tap on the cover image, and then you would get the summary. And this is also where you're going to find back issues. So if you notice underneath our big borrow button here, we have a button that says select another issue. When you click on that, it's going to give you last month's issue and so forth. Sometimes it depends on the magazine, but sometimes you might be able to go back a year. Sometimes, especially on Overdrive here, there's older magazines on here that are no longer in print, but they still have the magazine available for you to look at. So it's like if we would have back years physically in the library like we used to. This is another way that you can get, a magazine from 2016 that there's just some article about a specific topic that you want to get. And there's thousands of titles in Overdrive here for us to use. So it's a wonderful, wonderful new addition to it that we didn't have before. And I think it opens up a lot more titles than what people had before. This is what the summary page looks like on the app as well. The borrow button is first, and as you scroll down, it tells you about the summary. If you keep scrolling down, you would also see all of the other back issues as well. And then when you do hit the borrow button, this picture pops up in the middle of your screen. And then this one is a monthly magazine, so it is available to be borrowed for 21 days. I can click on that drop-down arrow and I can change it if I want it less days. Otherwise, it'll just stick to the 21. If this is a weekly magazine, it's only for 7 days that you get it. But depending on how often you might want to have a magazine for, you can change it. That's why the drop down arrow appears. I know sometimes when I read a magazine, I literally only have it for a few hours because I'm just going through them and then I'm done. So usually I'll return it early. And to read the magazine lives in your shelf. So that's on your loans page. So you can read it in browser if you're on your desktop or on your laptop, but you can also read it in the Overdrive or Libby app, just right in the app. So when you go to your loans page, this is what it would look like on the website. And then you would just select read now in browser and it would just open up, and it usually opens up and is the full browser, and you can select if you want it full screen too. If you're in the app, this is what your loans page would look like. And then you would tap on open in Libby. Or if this is Overdrive, I think it's either open or just open in Overdrive. I haven't used Overdrive in a while, so I can't remember what the button looks like now. So, but it would be something similar. And then to return your magazine, you would want to click return. So here on the website, it's just underneath each title here, it's return. And then on the app, it is underneath manage loan. So when you select manage loan, then there should be return early. This also has some reading features, just like Overdrive and Libby for reading ebooks or audiobooks. So when you tap the middle of the page, you have your tools pop up. You're able to zoom in, you can change the background color, and then you can also bookmark. You can also change the font. Although I don't know that when it says change font, I don't think that changes font as it does with books, because I don't think you can change the actual font that's in the magazine. But you also do have your slider down at the bottom. So you can go and find the different pages. And your table of contents, which is in your menu button. And you have those same buttons in the app. So you have bookmark, search, your reading features like the color or font size, and then the zoom. And then you also have your chapters down here for a table of contents with your slider. So I just want to show you now. Well, if you need my contact information, there's that there before we go to our live portion. Get out of here. All right, and I think I do need to stop my share and reshare for you to see this now. I think you should be able to see it. So let's start with Flipster, since that's what we did first. So you would start here, like I said, and then you would go down to Flipster. Then it wants your library card number. And I remember, look at numbers half the day, so I cannot ever remember my number. So we're going to copy paste. So this is what it would look like if we were doing it on a computer screen in a browser and then reading in browser. So the images that are in the handout would look like that. So it just opens up right away. We have a search bar at the top here. You have latest issues, and then here's all issues. You can view all if you want, or you can look at the categories. So let's see here. We do like business, we could do Kiplinger, so you just click on the name. And this just automatically opens up the current issue right away in your browser. And there is an all issues button. So that kind of pops out and I can look at different issues. I can look at pages, I can zoom up or out, and then you can use the arrows to go to each page. And you can print the pages in view, or if you want all pages, depending on how much you want to print out. And then there are some settings with zooming, so that's something that you can look at. So if I wanted to go to last month, I could click that and then say view. Then that would do that as well. To get out of this, I do just need to click on the X for each tab to get back. The result list is separate, so it does open up another tab every time you open. But getting back to your home Flipster page, you can just click on the little Flipster there. And you can search for titles. The difference between using this here and the app is currently right now, this is not saving anything anywhere for me. You can do this sign in stuff and try to make something that way if you like doing it on your computer. But I do find that this does work the best in the app. But the great thing is that you can check it out here to yourself if you want to. Anything that is in your account you can see. But I would see here, let's do hobbies. You can do. Let's do this old house. So instead of just clicking on the name too, there's also this little button, read this issue. I know my husband is getting a little addicted to this show ever since we bought a house. So this is something I hear about all the time. But it is nice that you can zoom up and you can move around the page like this with the little hand grabby thing. So pretty nice, and it looks great on the app. And everything, like I said, in the app is just between those three buttons at the bottom, the Explore, Shelf, and what was the other one? I think it was Read. But so that is Flipster on the desktop or laptop. It's pretty self-explanatory, just kind of like the app too. It's really simple. Once you're in, there's not too many buttons. You can't really mess up anywhere. Sorry.
Can you save these for, or check them out for like a week or something like that? Or no, it's on the computer?
Well, when we're looking here, it's on the computer, but if you get the Flipster app, then yes, then it's checked out to your app on your device, and it would be there for a week or 2 weeks. Because I think the weeklies are 1 week and the monthlies are 2 weeks.
Okay.
Like I said, there is this sign in here. And you can make an EBSCO host thing, but it's kind of complicated to do it that way. if you do have a smart device, it's going to look a lot better and you'd probably have a lot more fun reading it that way. So I guess that's just what I try to encourage, just because it gives you a better experience. It's like a magazine. And I'm assuming if people are trying to check out magazines that they usually have some kind of device. And this is something that you could use an iPad, an Android, a Kindle Fire also works. But if you have just like a regular e-ink Kindle or something, that's not going to be able to have the magazines from Overdrive or Libby. So one other thing I was going to mention. I can't remember.
But when you're on your laptop,
yep,
and going to the Middleton Library website and pull up the magazine, you could print off that, versus on the app, you really can't print off of it.
Correct. That would be a large difference between doing it just in browser versus in the app. In the app, it's in your app for that amount of days. And then you also, you don't have to have Wi-Fi when you have downloaded it in the app to read it later.
Okay.
You would have to wait until it finishes and it tells you when it's done and it's complete. But otherwise, you don't need the Wi-Fi for that. And that's the other nice thing. You could download a bunch of magazines for a trip that you know you're not going to have a lot of good Wi-Fi for. You know, download it before you leave and then it should still be there. It does disappear by itself though, for Flipster at least, once it no longer is readable and past the due date. You can put it in or hit the little trash button to get rid of it early, but otherwise it just disappears once it's done. That's always nice. Now I want to switch over to the Overdrive one. Like I said, so this is newer, but login still same. You hit sign in button. I've already signed into my account here. So then you would just click on collections and then you have magazines. So if I say see all, that's what I clicked on. It's going to start showing me as I scroll through. It's going to have all the different categories. It's going to be the same on the app. So if I wanted to see all hobbies and crafts one, like I said, the great thing about the Overdrive Libby ones is that there are so many titles, and there's, you know, magazines that are no longer in print, but they still have them on here for you. And this is really nice and helpful, especially for things like the hobbies and crafts, when you have crochet or knitting magazines that maybe are no longer in print, but they have some cute patterns and things that might be involved in the magazine that you can take a screenshot of or print from your computer or your device. And, you know, that's something that you maybe wouldn't have access to otherwise. So that's really nice to have. It doesn't want to load. It's being slow. Okay. So here you can see, like this one, it says that they have a spring 2021. But like this one, it has some random number and it's not a year. Same with this one. And sometimes they do have the date, but it's older. But so if we did like, I don't know, quilting arts. If I clicked on the cover, I get the summary. And then I also can select other issues. So it looks like they have 2019, and 2018. There's quite a few back issues for this one there. But I would just right away hit borrow. And then it also, like I said, it has the 21 days, but if you don't think you're going to need it for that long, you can go less. And then you would just do borrow. And now, because I'm not in an app right now, it does tell me that it's checked out to my account. So if I open up Libby or Overdrive on a mobile device, it should pop up there. And it also lets me know, and this is like one of my favorite things about this, is magazines don't count towards your checkout limit in Libby or Overdrive. So you have unlimited checkouts for magazines, and there's virtually no wait lists either for the magazines. So you just automatically get it all the time, and it doesn't matter how many you check out. So your number for your books is separate. So then there's read now in browser. And that would be, if I go to my loans page, I'm also going to find it there. And like I said, I can also get this if I log into the app on my mobile devices. It's going to be there. And then it would just be read now. And you would click on that button and it would pop up in the app. When I do it here, it just pops up in browser. And I have, when I slide left to right with my little grab hand, or if you just tap on the side with your mouse. If I go in the middle, that's where all of my reading features come in. So zoom up, double tap to zoom out. This is like a reading feature where it takes it to one page instead of 2 page. So if you don't like looking at the double page in the browser here, it's not going to necessarily do that on your device unless you have it horizontal. But that's another one. If you make bookmarks, you can do the little search to find your bookmark. How you can bookmark is by just clicking on the bookmark for this page, and then when no, it didn't register. It's supposed to pop up the bookmark there. I don't know why it's not working. And then the menu here is where your chapters, oh, there's the bookmarks. There we go. I thought it was the other one. And then your reading settings. Like I said, you can make it bright. For outdoor reading, you can make it sepia for looking more like a book, or dark, which that just inverts it. So the background will be black. If you notice the screenshots on the handout that I did, the background's black in the app screenshots that I took, because I always revert mine to the dark mode for all reading. It's just a little easier on the eyes. You don't have so much of the blue light from your screen shining in your face. So I think it's nice at any time of the day, but it's really meant for night reading. So it's just easier to fall asleep. And then the offline access is something that you can do on your computer as well. So you can download the whole magazine to your computer if you might have to go somewhere for Wi-Fi and you want to look at it later and you don't have a mobile device. This is a way that you can have it on your computer. But otherwise, if you're using the app, it's going to download to your app, and then once it says it's fully downloaded, you don't need Wi-Fi to access it. You just need to open up your app and tap on the book and start reading, or book, I'm sorry, magazine. I'm so used to only books on Overdrive and Libby that I'm constantly mixing up the two words. The magazines is a new thing. All right, so let's get out of this. And like I said, there is the return button. So you just need to tap return. Ask, are you sure you want to return this? Yes, return. In the app, like it shows in the handout, you would tap on manage loans and then return early. And then it's going to ask you the same question. Are you sure you want to return this early? And I'm going to, one more time, open up the magazines. I feel like yeah, as you go through, it's just gonna have load more and you just keep scrolling. And there is, I think there's over 2,000 titles available. There's lots of different titles that I've never heard in here. There's even quite a few in other languages too. So if some of those that you like, that we might have physically in the library you're interested in, we might have those as well. And if you have trouble finding them, you can always do the search. So let's see here. I'm trying to think of something, and maybe I'm having trouble, even though I think it's very prominent, but I want highlights. There's different highlights titles, but if I do highlights for children, they are showing up here. And it does tell me it's a magazine. So then I could click in it and get to that too, that way. One great distinction between Flipster and this is that there are a lot more children's titles in Overdrive and Libby than there is Flipster. Flipster has mostly adult titles. Let's see. So yeah, and if you ever wanted to add this to your history to look at for later, you can always say add to history. That's another thing that you might do. Then if I go to history, now it's been placed on there, so it's easier for me to get to. That might happen when you have so many titles to search through. You see something once and you're like, oh, that looks interesting. So that just helps put that somewhere. Unfortunately, you can't, I don't know why, but you can't put the magazines in a wish list. You can only put it in the history. So hopefully that's something that they'll fix, because I don't know that it's supposed to be like that. This is a new feature. So if you do ever have problems, just make sure that you do contact us at the library, or you can do the help button here up at the top, and then it opens this up here. You can search for your issue, or you can also do the, where is it? When you do like a troubleshoot email, I'm like, this is my problem. And it's helpful if you say what kind of device you have, if you're using Overdrive or Libby, and then that gets forwarded to us at the library, and then we usually try to contact you. I think that's in troubleshooting. Yeah, I think they make you go through a process before you say you want to contact somebody. But I want to show you. If you're on our website, and you just need to send us an email about an issue. There is our contact page, and here you can you can call us and it can get forwarded to reference, and then you can leave us a message if we're not there. Otherwise, well, I guess it's down there. The info@midlibrary.org is where you would want to email us if you had a specific question on that. But usually it's small things here and there we might have to tweak. Sometimes your account can be what they call expired, but it's just that we need to update your contact information. So in that instance, you would just need to call us and we can do it over the phone. Or if we do it over email, we'll just ask you a few general questions and then we would get that back to working so that it's updated. That is a reason why you would sometimes be blocked from Overdrive or Libby, or sometimes even Flipster, because it's going to affect all of your online database usage. So if that happens, just let us know. But that only happens every 4 years. So if you've done it recently, you should be fine. But usually we try to send out email notifications, and people sometimes don't know about it until they can't get into something. So just let us know. Did you have any questions about magazines and Overdrive and Libby?
I don't.
No.
That's excellent.
Say it's very similar to the ebook and audiobook. So it's for people who have already done that. It's not too hard to figure out. Like I said, I think the really great thing is that it's just unlimited and that there's no wait lists. You know, it's a really nice setup, and I'm hoping that we're going to be able to take advantage of this new feature. I know they've tried magazines in the past and they didn't, for some reason, they didn't work. I think it was more just because maybe the software that they were using, that it was a little clunky, so it just didn't flow as nicely. But ever since we have Libby now, things have been great. So they've been trying it again, and I think it's going well. All right, well, if we don't have any questions on this, I guess that's a wrap. You know, thank you so much for attending. I know we had this little small group here tonight, but if you have any questions, like I said, just contact the info desk, or you can email me. I think I had my contact information up previously here. So you can always give me an email if you're having trouble with something, and I can always try and help you out.
Thank you very much, Amanda.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for your time.
You have a great evening.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks.